Super busy week in the NBA. The NBA draft just wrapping up. The Sixers and the Wizards making some shocking picks, or at least to some, but not before we dive into these blockbuster trades. LaMelo Ball joining Anthony Edwards out in Minnesota. Giannis joining Bam Adebayo out in Miami. We are diving into it all on this episode of the No Shame with Shane podcast. Yether. Bro, crazy week in the NBA. Let's kick it off with a shebang. The Charlotte Hornets, they trade LaMelo Ball, star point guard LaMelo Ball, along with Josh Green to the Minnesota Timberwolves in exchange for Naz Reid, a 2023 unprotected first-round pick, 3 first-round pick swaps, and 3 second-round picks. This absolute bombshell, bro. This completely unexpected. I think almost broke the sports algorithm of the internet early this morning. Bro, I gotta say, LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards, I think they'll be the best backcourt in the NBA. Looking at the 2026 season, I think LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards will be the best backcourt in the NBA. It's hard not to give them that right, or at least that benefit of doubt heading into this coming season. Bro, you look at these two guys. These two guys will be able to feed off of each other so well offensively. We're talking about two guys that can be 25 to 30 point scorers consistently. You have, they both do different but yet complementary things as well. Like LaMelo Ball, obviously being a true floor general, being able to run the floor while being a scorer. Anthony Edwards being an elite two-way player, not just being able to score, but also being able to lock up on defense. Both of these guys together could be great in transition, great at starting fast breaks, great at finishing fast breaks. Bro, this backcourt honestly can do everything you need to win some primetime basketball games. There's nothing, honestly, that this backcourt cannot do, that they don't have, that is not in their wheelhouse, that is not in their skill set. It's going to be hard on the defensive end. It's going to be hard trying to figure out how to slow down this offense that is built around these two dynamic guards. Two guards that can light it up offensively, but then also that can do other things that honestly leads to championship caliber basketball. Bro, LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards will be the best backcourt in the NBA this coming season in 2026 for sure. I really don't think there's any denying that, bro. You look at this backcourt between LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards, there's no doubt in my mind they'll be the best backcourt in the NBA. Bro, you look at some of the best backcourts in the league right now. You look at Shea and J-Dub. You look at Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. Bro, you look at possibly Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper, bro. You look at Maxey and VJ. Even Derek White and Jaylen Brown. Bro, honestly, I think LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards will be a better pairing, a better backcourt pairing than any of those pairings I just mentioned. LaMelo, there's not a backcourt pairing in the NBA right now that to me looks like a better pairing than what LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards could be together. If I'm ranking my top 5 backcourts in the NBA, I'm definitely putting LaMelo and Ant at 1. I think they'll be able to feed off of each other so well offensively. Melo being not only being a scorer, but being a true point guard. Anthony Edwards being an elite two-way player. I got number 2. I think to me, you got to put Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart at number 2, just winning a finals together. Brunson being a true 3-level scorer, walking bucket, and then Josh Hart being a Swiss Army knife, being able to do a plethora of different things that lead to a championship. Then I think Shea and J-Dub are right there. Honestly, those two pairings are interchangeable to me, but Shea being an MVP, J-Dub being a 25-point scorer, but a guy that can also run an offense and play defense. Both guys can play defense. Then, honestly, if the Spurs make that a tweak, make that adjustment in the lineup, I honestly think Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper can be in that top 5 group this year. You look at both of these guys can score. Both of these guys can score in the clutch. Both of these guys are good defenders. And honestly, both of these guys make bang hustle plays. They were doing that throughout the entire postseason and really the regular season. And then at 5, I got to go with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. Maxey being a 30-point scorer, MVP candidate, and VJ being a 20-point scorer, but also being one of the better two-way players in the NBA right now, also being great in transition. Both of these guys can get out and run. But if I'm looking at my top 5 backcourt pairings in the NBA, that's my ranking, and I have LaMelo and Anthony Edwards at that top spot for sure. At that top spot for sure. Like, bro, I look at LaMelo and Anthony Edwards as teammates. LaMelo Ball is definitely going to make Anthony Edwards a better player. He's definitely going to make Anthony Edwards a better player. Like, bro, all LaMelo does is elevate the guys around him. That's what he's been doing his entire career in Charlotte, i.e. Miles Bridges, i.e. Con Knipple as a rookie lighting it up from long range, i.e. Brandon Miller. There's no question LaMelo Ball can have that same type of impact on a top 5 talented, top 5 potential caliber player in Anthony Edwards. There's no doubt. Like, bro, Anthony Edwards has never had a true point guard like LaMelo Ball, a guy who was as lethal as LaMelo Ball at that point guard position, at that one. Like, LaMelo Ball is going to be a guy that will constantly be able to feed Anthony Edwards, will definitely make it easier for him to find his spots offensively on the floor. Like, will definitely be LaMelo will definitely be able to elevate Anthony Edwards. Like, the NBA has been waiting for Anthony Edwards to take that significant step forward into like MVP caliber territory range. I think Anthony Edwards having a true point guard like LaMelo Ball, who can do all of those things, but that can also draw more attention to himself away from Anthony Edwards, giving him some more space to operate on the floor. Anthony Edwards will definitely have his best season this year playing alongside LaMelo Ball. LaMelo Ball will definitely make Anthony Edwards a better player. 1,000%. 1,000%. But I honestly think Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball, they'll make each other better players. Like, I know, like, LaMelo Ball will definitely make Anthony Edwards a better player because that's what LaMelo Ball is known for, just elevating the guys around him. But they're going to make each other better because it's going to be hard on the defensive end. It's going to be hard trying to stop both of those guys offensively. Two guys that can really score from almost anywhere on the court. Like, two guys that can drop 25 to 30 consistently. It's going to be like both of these guys on the court at the same time. It provides so much more spacing than I think what the Timberwolves are used to. Because you can't double team Anthony Edwards, and then you can't double team LaMelo Ball because you're just opening up yourself to one of them basically tearing your defense up. Like, you got to worry about LaMelo shooting from long range at a high volume. You got to worry about Anthony Edwards, being able to finish through contact and finishing at the rim at an efficient rate, at a highly efficient rate, consistent rate. Like, bro, I not only think LaMelo Ball will obviously be able to make Anthony Edwards a better player, but both of these guys are going to be able to feed off of each other so well offensively. They're going to make each other better. Honestly, this Timberwolves offense built around LaMelo and Ant, not just this season, but moving forward, is going to be a problem in the West. It is going to be a real problem in the West. So I'm super excited. I'm super excited to see what LaMelo and Anthony Edwards do together as a backcourt pairing, as teammates. But speaking of trades, LaMelo Ball to the Timberwolves might not have even been the craziest trade that we saw this week. Giannis moving out to Florida. He's packing his bags and heading down south for a haul in exchange for him. Milwaukee Bucks traded Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bobby Portis to the Miami Heat in exchange for Tyler Hero, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Kel'el Ware, J.R. Kasparas, three first round picks, including this year's 13th overall pick, one pick swap, one second rounder. Bro, the Heat giving away the house and the lawn for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Absolutely insane deal for Miami and the Bucks. Honestly, bro, like, if we're being real on this deal, the Heat got fleeced. The Heat 100%, the Heat 100% got fleeced. Like, yeah, they're getting a top 3 when healthy player overall in Giannis Antetokounmpo, but in return, in exchange, they now have very little to no perimeter scoring. They have absolutely no depth, and now they really have no future. Like the Heat get like the Heat gave away all really their foundation and hopes to build. They gave that all away for Giannis. They gave up way too much for Giannis. Like, I honestly feel like the Heat gave up way too much for a 30-year-old Giannis who's coming off of a calf injury. A 30-year-old Giannis who's coming off of a calf injury. Like, this is not a this starting five, this roster is not a championship caliber team. It's just not right now. They gave up way too much for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like, honestly, the Heat right now with Giannis, they don't look like a championship team. They just don't look like a championship team. Like, if you look at the essentials of what a championship team needs in order to contend, like in terms of on-court essentials, like outside of coaching, you obviously need a number one option. You need the ability to play defense. You need defense. You need depth, and you need spacing. Like, you need shooters. You have to be able to shoot the basketball and stretch the floor. Right now, the Heat only have 2 of those things. They have their bona fide number one option in Giannis. They obviously have defense with Giannis and Bam Adebayo in the front court. But they don't have anything other. They don't have depth. They have no depth, and they have no spacing. Like, so this is you could say a seasoned team just because of the finals experience between Giannis and Bam. This could be a very good defensive team because of Giannis and Bam. Norman Powell also being a pretty solid defender. But this team has very little spacing. There's no one on this squad right now that you fear from long range. And there's absolutely no depth. Like, Miami Heat has no depth coming off the bench right now. Like, they have no pieces off the bench right now. No rotational players that can sustain a lead or even cut into a lead with their star players, with their starters being off the floor. Miami gave up way too much for Giannis, and right now, even though they have Giannis, they look even further away from a championship than what they did before the trade. Honestly, they gave up way too much for Giannis. They do not look like a championship team right now. Like, honestly, looking at the starting five for Miami right now, you have Davion Mitchell and Norman Powell as your starting guards. You have obviously Giannis at the 4. You have Bam at the 5. This is not a starting lineup right now. Like, you have Davion at the 1, Norman Powell at the 2, Andrew Wiggins at the 3, Giannis at the 4, Bam at the 5. This is not a starting lineup right now after this Giannis trade. I mean, this is not a championship starting 5 lineup after the Giannis trade. Like, this lineup is not contending in the East. If you look at the Heat right now, the Heat do not have a championship team right now. The Heat don't have a championship team right now. You look at the starting 5, you have Davion Mitchell at the 1, Norman Powell at the 2, Andrew Wiggins at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Bam at the 5. That is not a championship level starting 5 in the East. Like, bro, the Heat don't look like a contender right now. Like, this starting 5 is not better than most of the teams in the East. Like, bro, the Heat starting 5 right now is not better than the Knicks. We know that. It's not better than Brunson, Hart, Mikal Bridges, OG, and Cat. It's honestly not better than the Pistons starting 5 with Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. It's not better than the Celtics starting 5, assuming that Jaylen Brown stays on the roster this offseason, depending on what happens with him. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, it's honestly not better than the Cavs starting 5 right now. Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, even with what you get from James Harden during the regular season. Jared Allen, it's not better than the Cavs starting 5. It's definitely not better than the Sixers starting 5. Maxey, VJ, PG. It's even with that 80% Joel Embiid. And honestly, it's not better than the Magic starting 5. Paolo, Franz, Desmond Bane, Jalen Suggs, Wendell Carter. And honestly, this Miami Heat starting 5, it's not better than the Wizards starting 5 right now. It's not better than the Wizards starting five. Trae Young, Trey Johnson. They just picked up AJ DeBonta, first overall in the draft. Keyshawn George, Anthony Davis, healthy or not healthy. Like, bro, this Miami Heat starting five is not a contending starting five coming out of the East. It's like the Miami Heat have one of the worst starting fives right now, one of the bottom starting fives right now in the conference. This starting five is not better than any of the 8 teams, the 7 teams that I just named. Their starting five isn't better than the Knicks starting five. It's not better than the Pistons starting five. It's not better than the Celtics starting five. It's not better than the Cavs starting five, arguably. It's definitely not better than the Sixers starting five. It's not better than the Magic starting five. It may not even be better than the Wizards starting five during the regular season. So this Miami Heat team right now, I know they obviously still have to fill out their roster, but this Miami Heat starting five alone does not look like a championship caliber starting five, even with Giannis. Giannis obviously makes you more of a contender, but they don't look like a true contending team right now on paper, at least looking at their starting five. They truthfully don't. They truthfully don't. So I think Miami gave up way too much in exchange for the Greek Freak, But and honestly, you look at Miami Heat's best two players right now are Giannis Antetokounmpo and Bam Adebayo. Miami has the best front court right now for sure. Giannis being a 35 and 15 type of guy, Bam being a consistent 20 and 10 type of guy. But I don't think that's a duo that you can, especially like with their current guard situation, that's not a duo that you can win a championship with based on how this roster is built. Like with their current guard situation and with those two being your best two players, that is not a formula for a championship. Like, bro, that's like it's a great formula for a great defensive team. Bam being a great defender, Giannis being a great defender, like these guards being pretty decent defenders. But this team has absolutely no versatility on offense. Like, bro, there is no spacing in this starting five whatsoever. Giannis is not a 3-level scorer. Bam is not a consistent is not a consistent threat from 3-point range, from long range. Both of these guys are interior players. Both of these guys excel finishing at the rim, excel in the paint. Giannis excelling in transition. But these guys are not spacing the floor. These guys are not guys that can sort of play off of each other the way that the way that Damian Lillard and Giannis on paper could mesh together. The way that a Jimmy Butler and a Bam Adebayo on paper and in game meshed together and could play off of each other, with Jimmy being able to do a plethora of different things, including scoring from outside, scoring from in the mid-range, just being able to score at different levels. Like, this is not a formula. A team with this Miami Heat team with this duo of Giannis and Bam at its center right now is not a formula for a championship. It's just not. So it's going to be interesting to see what type of additions to the roster that Miami Heat makes, that Pat Riley and Spo make to this roster. But bro, Miami Heat just put themselves in a very tough spot. They put themselves in a very tough spot. They get in exchange for a guy who is a top 3 player when healthy. They gave away all of their perimeter scoring. They gave away all of their depth. They gave away their future pretty much in draft capital. And because of Giannis's contract that they are absorbing, they gave away all of their money. Like, they don't have money to really make quality signings that can make a true difference for this team this year. Like, unless like free agents are willing to take a pay cut just to play with Giannis in Miami, like, this team doesn't have money to make quality signings. So Miami Heat gave away pretty much all of their resources in exchange for a top 3 player. Like, it's like the Miami honestly right now put themselves in a very, very tough situation. Very, very tough situation. But moving on to the draft. NBA draft is all wrapped up now, and the Sixers, with the 22nd pick in the NBA draft, drafted LeBaron Philon out of Alabama, sophomore. I mean, I'm not going to lie, dude is a dog for sure. Dude is a dog. But LeBaron Philon was not the right pick for the Sixers. He wasn't the right pick for the Sixers. He wasn't a bad pick, obviously. He wasn't a bad pick, but he was not the right pick for the Sixers. He's not what the Sixers needed. Like, honestly, this honestly reminds me of when the Sixers drafted Jared McCain 2 years ago instead of Dalton Connect. Like, Jared McCain obviously was not a bad pick, especially when you fast forward, look at what he did as a Sixer, but he wasn't the right pick. The Sixers needed at the time a two guard, a guy who could also play the wing, who could get out and operate in transition. Like they needed what they ended up getting in VJ Edgecombe in last year's draft. They needed Dalton Connect. The Sixers needed Dalton Connect, but instead they drafted Jared McCain. They needed the guy who went to the LA immediately after the Jared McCain selection. That's honestly what the Sixers did this year. Like, the Sixers, they didn't make a bad pickup. They got a bona fide playmaker in LeBaron, but it wasn't the right pick. It wasn't the right pick like what Chris Sinak would have been for the Sixers or Terrace Reed would have been for the Sixers. Like, the Sixers needed a big man. They needed a big man to supplement and possibly replace Joel Embiid. Not a guard, not another guard to sort of supplement Maxey and VJ. So the Sixers, they didn't make a bad pick in LeBaron Philon, but they also didn't make the right one. They didn't make the right one. The Sixers needed a big man to supplement and possibly replace Joel Embiid, who was on his last legs. We didn't need another guard. We didn't need another guard because at that point, there was no point in trading Jared McCain. If we wanted to have another guard like this, there was no point in trading Jared McCain. It honestly makes the Jared McCain trade an even bigger waste than what it ended up being before the draft. The Sixers needed a big man. They needed a big man to supplement and replace Joel Embiid and to take more minutes away from Adem Bona, who was a disappointment in the playoffs. We didn't need another dynamic guard. So LeBaron Philon, I'm not mad we got him. Wasn't a bad pick, but he definitely was not the right pick. But LeBaron Philon, regardless of whether you think it was a mistake or not to draft him as opposed to a Chris Sinak or a Terrace Reed Jr. or even a Joshua Jefferson, LeBaron Philon Jr. is an asset. LeBaron Philon is an asset. Regardless of if you think we should have drafted him or not, LeBaron Philon is an asset because honestly, it fits the current style of the NBA right now. Like, it fits the sort of name of the game, the secret formula of today's NBA. Like, we've seen, in order to succeed in today's NBA, you need a steady rotation of guards. That's what the Spurs had this year that allowed them to get to that helped them get to the finals. That's what the Thunder have that help them, that helps them be one of the most talented teams in the league. That's what the Knicks had this year that helped them get to the finals. Like, this was like LeBaron Philon helps the Sixers fit that mold. It fits that mold. He's a replacement for Jared McCain that could potentially gel better with Maxey and VJ, better than what McCain was able to. So, because you look at this backcourt now, the Sixers do have that steady rotation of guards that has proven successful for other teams. Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe as your starting 1 and 2, and then you have LeBaron Philon and possibly Quentin Grimes if we re-sign him coming off the bench. So regardless of whether you think we should have drafted LeBaron Philon or not, LeBaron Philon is an asset to the Sixers team because it does give Philly this steady rotation of guards, a formula that has proven successful for other playoff teams that have gotten further in the playoffs than us. So Philon is still going to be an asset regardless. Like, honestly, LeBaron Philon, for where the Sixers got him, was a complete steal. Phylon was a complete steal for the Sixers, regardless of if you think we should have taken him or not. Phylon was a steal. Like, you may not agree with the pick, but the Sixers got a top 3 to 4 guard in this draft class at pick 22. That's not something you see often. Like, this was a deep draft class, but the Sixers got Phylon at a steal. We're talking about a true playmaker, a guy that can score on all three levels, averaging 22 points per game, showing significant improvement from his freshman year to sophomore year. A guy who has no issue scoring off the dribble, whether in the paint or from long range. He's excels at finishing through contact, and he's an active defender. He really checks all the boxes for a star guard in the NBA. He checks all the boxes for a complete guard in the NBA. The Sixers got Phylon. Like, Phylon was a complete steal for the Sixers, for sure. Complete steal. He is no doubt going to be an asset for the Sixers this year. He is no doubt going to make an immediate impact for this Sixers team this year. But honestly, looking at another draft pick that surprised some people, I thought it was pretty on the money. But the Wizards, they take AJ DeBonsa at number 1 overall instead of Darren Peterson. This is interesting for multiple reasons. Especially when you remember the fact that Darren Peterson refused to work out or interview with any other team in the draft, including the Utah Jazz, who had the second pick in the draft. So this was interesting for a plethora of reasons, but honestly, the Wizards drafting AJ DeBonsa over Darren Peterson was the right pick for them. It was the right move. It was the move I thought they should have made going in, and it's the move they ended up making. This was the right pick because AJ honestly is the better fit for this Wizards team than Darren Peterson. Like, both of them, I think, are here and here in terms of ceiling, in terms of ability, different play styles. But AJ is no doubt the better fit for this Wizards team. Like, bro, the backcourt in Washington is fine. With Trae Young, Trae Johnson, the backcourt is fine. What the Wizards needed was someone who could improve their transition offense and someone who could also improve their paint presence. Two things that they were just frankly not good. Two areas that they were not good in last year, or really like the past few years. Like, AJ DeBonsa checks those boxes for the Wizards. He can not only hit from long range. He did show improvement on his 3-point shooting throughout the season. That is something he is working on and improving in. But he is no doubt a beast in transition, both starting fast breaks and finishing fast breaks. And he is no doubt a beast in the paint and finishing around the rim. Like, AJ DeBonsa is the exact player that the Wizards needed in order to really turn this franchise around. Because they have the pieces right now. They have a star point guard in Trae Young who can obviously space the floor. They have a complementary 2 guard who can also score in different areas, like in Trae Johnson. They have a promising wing tandem now in AJ and Keyshawn George. And then if AD is healthy, we know what AD looks like healthy at that center position. But, I know that's not something to bank on, but the Wizards do have talent on this squad. AJ was the exact player that the Wizards needed in order to start turning around this franchise. For sure. AJ was the pick. But that's all we got for today's edition of No Shame with Shane. If you haven't already, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. And as always, I will be back later on with more shameless takes.